watching right now, make sure you're wearing those solar eclipse glasses. Make sure you have the solar filters over your camera lenses. This is what we need to be doing right now because you're not at totality yet. And as we look at these pictures, you're going to hear the voice of Ryan Marciniak, who's been with me all morning and all afternoon, and we've been enjoying his expertise so much from astronomy in action. One of the things in Nelson Kwan's documentary, Chasing Shadows, there's a line that says, once you experience a total solar eclipse, it changes you. You've seen one. Did it change you?
It did. I mean, being an astronomer, you have I guess a more intimate understanding of what's happening in the cosmos around us. But to be there and to understand that these three celestial bodies are lining up perfectly, and you are along that line, you are part of that experience. You feel connected to the entire universe at that moment.
So that's what we're going to feel here. Now, yeah. I should tell you that Ryan and I right now, we're under a tent. So we're protected in terms of whatever bursts through. Every once in a while we hear, I'm just looking this way because the sun is this way over my shoulder. I can't believe the crowd now.
It's fantastic.
For a while they were saying 1 million people in Niagara Falls. I don't know if we're going to hit that because it's not the best weather, but they certainly are expecting 100,000, hundreds of thousands potentially. Yeah. And if you've missed the last reference point, the biggest one-time crowd they had here was when Nick Walenda walked on that tightrope from the American Falls over here across to Horseshoe Falls. 150,000 people were there to witness that. Can you imagine that? Pretty incredible. But we do expect there are many, many more people watching in one of the natural wonders of the world, Niagara Falls, what is sure to be another natural wonder of the world. We've been watching all morning quite a lot of seagulls. What are they likely to do as totality approaches?
Their nighttime routine, maybe landing, nesting a little bit, kind of settling down, but maybe a little surprised that they're doing that so early, but it will get pretty quiet as far as birds go.
But interestingly, it won't be silent for us, I wouldn't imagine, because of the falls behind us.
Well, between the falls and the crowd, I'm sure it'll be quite loud.
They'll be cheering, I'm
yeah,
sure.
Definitely.
But we are in front of the second largest falls in the world behind Victoria Falls, but the most water, 168,000 cubic meters every minute. This is rushing over, so it's really it's a roar.
It's a beautiful place to be. Even if the weather is cloudy for the rest of the eclipse, we have this wonder of the world to look at.
It really is. So stand by for just a second. I want to bring in Katie Nicholson. I haven't seen personally, Katie, the partial eclipse. These are my live shots here that you're seeing up on the camera. This is what's going on in Niagara Falls because I'm under my tent. I'm keeping my eyes very well sheltered, but you've been out there. I do have my glasses at the ready, though, of course. Now, what's been happening out there with the crowd as you've been talking to people as totality approaches?
Well, this is sort of the scene. You can see a fair number of people still staring up, looking, willing the clouds to sort of part again. You can sort of feel it here. We had those brief moments around 2:43 to 2:45. That's when we heard these whoops from the crowd. People were so excited because they could actually see it a bit with the naked eye, and people were putting their glasses on and off and on and off because it was really hard to make out at first. All of our friends along here with their telescopes started hustling really quickly, trying to basically record the images they were getting. I talked to a couple who had come in from North Carolina, and they woke up this morning, they saw how cloudy it was, they were just like, oh, what a bummer. And then they had that moment, and they were showing me the pictures that they got, which were just pretty incredible, just as the moon and the sun just started to encroach upon one another there. So what's happening here is people are just really wanting another moment of that as we get closer to totality. But obviously, one of the reasons that people wanted to come here was to have that experience of darkness in the middle of the day, essentially. And so and to really, I guess, be blown away by this sort of celestial show. Can't do that when it's this cloudy. So really, this is everyone's just kind of hanging out here, waiting for a slightly better view, waiting for the skies to clear just a little bit. And I don't know, like I didn't think we were going to get what we just got a little while ago. So Heather, I'm like kind of holding hope, and I'm holding onto my glasses just in case we have that break.
I hope so. It's really fun to hear the crowd as they see the sun, and they are so excited. We're looking live at pictures of Woodstock TVI on one side of your screen, and Sherbrooke Quebec, it really does. And Ryan Marciniak has time for one more question for now. He's coming back, but he's going to be part of totality coverage on CBC Radio if you're listening as well. So we're under a tent. It's hard to gauge, but it looks to me like the sky is darkening. Is that right?
Yeah, it's starting. We're starting to see that kind of hitting the dimmer switch on the sun. Right? It's just a little bit right now, but over the next 10 minutes, we're going to notice a lot of darkness. And then when we approach totality, we'll start to see that shadow coming across, the darkness looming across us.
I can feel the breeze.
It's getting cooler.
I think it is getting cooler. It was 14 degrees. We took the temperature at 1 o'clock. We took the temperature. It was 14. We are noting, because it'll drop about 10 degrees, won't it? 10 degrees?
Yes, and the wind might actually stop and shift direction as well.
And then again, as we talk, the seagulls, they're really the only bird life or animal life. There's some pets in the crowd, but maybe hear the dogs react. I don't know.
Certainly.
But the birds, we'll see if they get silent. This is all what is in store for us here in Niagara Falls. And again, Ryan, thank you. Come on back after your radio duties. We'll continue our conversation. I just want to make sure that you just take stock for just one moment. 1979, the last time there was a total solar eclipse in Canada. There won't be another until 2044, and that's in the western provinces and up in the 3 northern territories. That's a big gap. We need to experience this together as we are and really savor the moments. What we're seeing, this rare spectacle play out live before us, and we're bringing you live pictures all along the path of totality. So Jay Scotland's camera in Woodstock, we're looking at Alison Northcott's camera at Montmagny, the observatory there. You can see the partial eclipses in Sherbrooke. I'm really hoping that the cloud breaks and I can bring you my own live camera, but so far, not. Andrew, we've been saying a lot of Doris Day. Que sera, sera. We're just going with it here in Niagara. Whatever happens. So what's going on in Toronto where you are?
Well, Heather, this serves me right because I was bragging about the sun coming out. It is gone. It is the cloudy skies here in Toronto where we're under partial eclipse. But we are, as you've been mentioning, just minutes away. And Pauline is here, Barnaby is here with me, just minutes away from totality for many people in southwestern Ontario, and then it'll quickly kind of clip through southern Ontario into Quebec, into the Maritimes, and then finally Newfoundland over about a half an hour period.
Hell,
so
how
for
dark
those
it is there.
in the
I
bright
remember
sunshine,
our partial one being like that. It looked like the start of a really, really bad murky thunderstorm.
You see a little bright spot on the edge of the moon,
Yeah.
or at the edge of the moon and the sun. They might get to see Bailey's beads, which is where the sunlight filters through the craters on the edge of the moon, which is super cool.
Yeah.
They'll see birds landing or doing their sleepy time things. They'll feel it getting cooler, and maybe the winds will change shape, change direction.
It feels a little, I don't know, it feels a little bit cooler here, and it does seem darker. Do you think are we experiencing that?
I think we're starting to get a bit of the edge of that, yeah. And, for those of us under the clouds, we're still going to see it get dark. We're just not going to get to see all of the awesome stuff next to the sun.
Okay, so now that we are very close to experiencing that, or many Canadians are, those in Niagara and southern Ontario and other parts, remind us about the safety tips in terms of the glasses and what we need to be doing.
Gotcha. So folks who are under clear skies, you want to keep your glasses on until you see the sun go away, basically. That's how you'll know totality is started, and you can take the glasses off. And then you got to put them back on 2 to 3 minutes later, depending on where exactly you are. People where it's not a total eclipse need to keep the glasses on. If you've got as many clouds as we have here, you probably can't see the sun anyway.
Yeah.
But keep the glasses handy. You might need them.
And remind us about why this happens. This is all about the size of the moon versus the size and the distance of the sun, right?
Right.
In terms of how this happens.
Right. So the moon is coming between the sun and the earth, and it just happens that the moon is the right size to block out the sun. Except sometimes when the moon is a little further away and it's not quite big enough to block out the sun, we call that an annular eclipse. So if you've heard that word, that's what that means.
All right, Pauline, thank you. Okay, so here we are. Heather, I know, and I was just going to ask you finally, in terms of the 99.9%, yeah, it just won't be the same.
Right.
But Heather, I know we're so close. Back to you in Niagara Falls.
We are. I can see your sky darkening, Andrew, and thank you so much. Can you see mine? It's quite extraordinary. I want you to watch this, but there we are. Look at this. You can see my breath. The temperature has dropped. considerably.
Oh, I don't remember that
quickly.
me when I was
Katie
watching
Nicholson, who's just
mine in
can I see
Duckingfield
Katie
a few
somewhere in the
years
crowd
ago.
just behind me?
I remember it going dark and it was
Katie,
cloudy.
in terms of
Hard to
darkness,
see,
light,
but
sound,
my camera,
cold? What are
my
you
camera
seeing?
got
We've
it.
noticed, yeah, big shift in light, but
Oh,
also
remember
just
that, Melanie, when you had a
temperature, the
camera?
wind, and the
Yeah.
thing that I'm really noticing, I kind of
Happy
feel a bit like Tippy
days.
Hedren and the birds. The seagulls here have just really kicked up. They're
I've
flying
ordered
around.
mine a
We
month
sort of
ago
hear
now,
them.
it's still ain't
I
here
don't know.
yet.
Dad, do you want to just like grab a couple of them? They've been sort of like flocking
Woo!
around
Yeah, they
us
have,
to the
haven't they?
side a bit more too.
Was like that in
Flying low,
Blackpool.
just sort of going around in circles. They certainly seem a little bit more disturbed, and we, of course, have heard multiple times. Sometimes animals start nocturnal behaviors. They get a little bit confused by the sudden, rapid onset of darkness. But you can feel it. It's a tangible experiential thing. You feel the cold, you feel the dark, and there certainly is a sense that something is shifting. So as we get closer and closer to totality, it has absolutely become crisper, colder, a little windier, and just the birds here clearly a little bit more on edge than they were earlier today.
Katie, thank you so
we
much.
We saw a couple planes.
Yeah. I was asking our team, because I'm looking up, there's just above us. Can you see this, Katie? There's a tiny sliver of blue sky, and everyone is hoping that expands, obviously. The sun is covered in cloud where we are. But again, there's optimism, and I think I keep seeing planes flying. Now, by the way, can you get that shot?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. You can see the blue sky there. Merdad is just getting it, yeah. And that is it, Heather, that is in the area where we were told is a prime viewing spot for this eclipse. So if that shifts over, we might be in luck here.
Listen, I am an eternal optimist, Katie Nicholson, and so we're not done yet. We have 6 minutes until totality where we are here in Niagara Falls, but it's seconds away in Kingsville, the very first place in Canada to experience a total solar eclipse since 1979. The southernmost point of Canada is Pelee Island. Chris Ensing, you keep those glasses on. Last moments of partial eclipse for you. Chris, tell me about it. Tell me all about it.
We're watching this move centimeters away from taking over the sun. It's incredible, just the version of what's occurring here for us with the sky darkening, the cold, we can see our breath, the water in front of us flat. I've got people behind me all over. Just as this is about to go, I got some friends beside me right here. As you watch the sliver of the sun start to disappear, Ali, what are you thinking about, bud?
I would say this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. It's honestly just beautiful.
Wow, look at it. We've got that last little sliver inside of there. What do you guys think? What do you make of this? It's neat to see, eh?
It's pretty.
Ali, we got the applause from people.
So, there's so many people here. I don't even know what to say. Last sliver. Totality has just started. This is absolutely crazy.
There it is, Heather. You can hear everybody around us. That's just a gorgeous moment. I don't know what you're able to see, but the water is calm. I'm going to take the glass off just to look. Mike, if you can point the camera to the right there, you can see the sun sort of, the way the glow has been created over there. One of those beautiful sunsets that we would see here. Heather, it's incredible. Ali, before we throw back here, what do you want to make of this? What do you want the people of Canada to know?
No. Chris, just stay with me.
Life is beautiful.
Yes, Heather, we've got you. It's something that
I want you to just tell me. Look around. Tell me what's happening. How are people reacting? I want to experience it with you, Chris. Just give me the whole picture.
We've got kids running around. We've got two sides of a sunset here. The beautiful northern shore of Lake Erie, just calm as glass behind.